Each morning, real setups are broken down with entry strategies and technical reasoning behind every trade. This is today's best trade setups with Verified Investing.
Welcome to today's best trade setups. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader at Verified Investing. Thank you so much for joining in with me. I have some exciting charts to go over with you. There are several different gap fills that are coming up that I'm going to go over with you. Also, a couple different topping tails. I'm going to explain to you how to properly assess what a topping tail is and how to enter it, and then how a topping tail could potentially play out. Okay, yesterday we went over AMD. AMD had surged not only in the aftermarket, but in the pre-market yesterday. And here is that trade setup on AMD. Yesterday, I had mentioned that on a 15-minute closing basis to stop out of this trade. But if it got up to $256.33, that was a shortable level. It did get about $2 out of the money for us. However, look at this pullback. You got about a 2% pullback from this level. Look at this, almost a $6 pullback. Okay, this was a day trade. So I'm not looking for, a big 4, 5, 6% pullback. A 2% pullback for a day trade is an astounding amount of money. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the daily time frame because AMD may not be quite done yet. So I have an upsloping trend line that we're going to continue to watch. If it heads up there, we're going to be entering a swing trade short on this thing. So AMD, let's go to the daily time frame now. Now that we saw that played out, look at this upsloping trend line on AMD. This goes back from the December highs all the way to the recent 2024 highs. So if price action is to get back up to this upsloping trend line, this would be the third hit of this trend line. So you should have a lot of selling pressure coming in. I'm still targeting an upside move to $274.87, right around $275 for a potential short opportunity for AMD. All right, now let's go ahead and go into STX. I mentioned that STX, or there was a couple topping tails. STX is a stock that was really popular. It ended up continuing a lot higher. Now it's finally put in a reversal signal with a topping tail. So how do we play a topping tail? There are 3 specific criteria that we need to look for. Okay, highs of the charts. Is STX at the highs of the charts at when it created this topping tail? Yes. Look at this. All-time highs on STX after this significant move to the upside. Okay, so what else are we looking for? The wick has to be greater than 50% of the entire candle. Look at what happened. So I've taken a measurement tool, and this is a Trendline tool or a measurement tool, a Fibonacci tool in TradingView. This gives us an idea of how to calculate this. So you take the pivot top to the pivot low, and as you can see, the 50% is $288.44. So the wick is greater than 50% of this entire candle. You also need a close below 25% in the lower 25%, and that 25% level is $283.72. It closed below that. So this is the criteria for a topping tail. The way to play this is on a 50% Fibonacci retracement. So we're looking at a short opportunity on STX if it is to head higher at $288.44 for a potential short. This could be a stop out level. a great entry level with a stop out at $297.88. STX got close to that $300 psychological level, which is where I actually thought it was going to pull back from. However, it decided it wanted to pull back right before that level, and now it's trading at $274.31 currently in the pre-market. That is a significant 8% move to the downside. I love to see stocks like this that have a lot of volatility. So why do we play the 50% Fibonacci retracement? WDC is a great example of not only combining upsloping trend lines into resistance, but also retracements of topping tails. WDC, and this is what I anticipate for AMD. WDC came up and hit this trend line. It did close above it, but then the following day, 2 days ago, it put in a topping tail. Had you gotten in on a close of the topping tail, you would have been out of the money. Not a whole lot, but you wouldn't have gotten the best entry price. And then look at this. All of a sudden, it hit the 618 Fibonacci retracement, and now it's trading at $161.61. But that's why we wait for a retracement. If WDC wanted to continue to push a little bit higher, $178.45 would be your stop out. This topping tail is still valid. So if it does retrace to about $175, WDC would still be a great entry price. Now, there are a couple stocks that are coming into some pretty significant support levels, some gap fills that I'm eyeing on the trades today. Look at APLD. Nope. Actually, APLD did break that upsloping trend line that I mentioned yesterday. I'm still eyeing this $25 level. Look at this gap fill on the charts. This is a significant wide range green bar candle where price action got a huge bid to the upside, broke this upsloping trend line, and now is retracing to that gap fill. So there should be a lot of support here. If you're going to short this, what you want to do is you want to wait for a retrace to see the crime. If the APLD gets back up to about $28.68 all the way to $29, that would be a great entry for a short with a stop out on a daily closing basis above this upsloping trend line. CoreWeave, look at this chart. I have my first level. It is actually currently trading pretty close to this pivot low area. For my long level, today's $84.40 on a 15-minute closing basis. I will stop out of this trade. Look at the potential downside on CRWV. Potential downside is $65.41. There is a lot of space in this chart. The nice thing is, look at where this gap fill correlates. This pivot top right here. So you know there's going to be additional support level, maybe a little bit lower, but I still like the $65.41 gap fill on CRWV. I love the volatility in this. That means that there's still a lot of price action. Entering this at $84.40 is a great opportunity. Circle was a monster going into the first part of, or the middle part of 2025. Look at this move to the upside. It got back down to $133. Look at this gap fill. After you fill the gap, then you continue to chop sideways, got this euphoric move to the upside again. And then all of a sudden, once you broke this $133 level, now all of a sudden, this is what I don't want with CRWV, where there's a lot of gaps or a lot of space to run to the downside. Now, Circle is heading into $83.23. So look at this price action. This was the closing price on the IPO for Circle. So once it get back into $83.23, this is going to be a day trade level. With IPOs, if price action ends up getting below this high pivot, your next support level isn't going to be until about $68.77. Once the euphoria is out of this particular stock, once the sellers emerge, push this price down, there doesn't necessarily have to be a particular bottom on CRCL. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're trading this. If you end up getting stopped out, you could look for that lower end of the green bar or the green bar candle for an entry price. But after that, there's no floor. There's no other floor where buyers are willing to step up for this trade. So just be cautious with this. I still, again, for a day trade level, I still like the $83.23 level for a potential long play. All right, couple different things. Oracle is coming into a specific level. Gareth Soloway is going to be going over a lot of different things. He's going to be going over the Oracle chart. Oracle had some huge news on the back of earnings. It ended up popping 43%. Now it's coming into a key technical level that Gareth Soloway is going to be giving you in my trading game plan. He's also going to be talking about potential rate cuts. Everybody was super euphoric on a potential 50 basis points cuts. He's going to tell you why that is only down to a 50% chance that that is going to happen. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully some of these charts play out, and we're going to continue to monitor AMD for a potential shorting opportunity for a swing trade. That's what I have for you guys. If you guys are enjoying this, please make sure you're liking, following, subscribing, ringing that bell so you can get notified, and share with your friends so they can get the alpha that we are providing for you in these shows. Have a great rest of your day, and take care.